trying to send you guys the the textbook, but for now we can still use the screen share from my Mac, so we can still use it for now. But I'll later send you guys the okay. I think is it, yeah. I just sent it to you guys. But for that you use the textbook just for homework. But during the class we can use I can use my screen share. And screen share. Okay, do you guys see it? Can you guys see it? Okay.
Yeah.
So last time we talked about the plane and the points, right? And now we're gonna talk about one of the most useful formulas and like one of the most important formulas throughout geometry that you're gonna use. And you have to remember it because like in SSAT, they will ask you to find the distance for a midpoint. So here, see that's how they're gonna prove that like the distance between 2 points, um, and the midpoint is basically the segment is the point that divides the segment into two congruent segments. And a segment bisector is the point. It can be either a point, array, a line, or a line segment, or a plane that intersects the segment at its midpoint. So when you say that, you say a midpoint or segment bisector bisects a segment. So that's how it works. So line CD is a segment bisector of line AB. Okay. And so for this example, can you guys try to solve this one? Try to solve this one. If the midpoint is M and VM, line VM is 4x minus 1 and line MW is 3x plus 3, then do you guys know how to solve that? Just setting up the equation. It's like algebra.
Yeah.
So what do you do what do you do here? Do you guys know or take a guess? Like what do you do here if they provide you with the information for two lines, like, and you know that this is the midpoint, this is the middle point for the whole entire line.
Add them?
What's that?
Do you add them?
Do you but for now you don't know the entire distance though, right?
Okay.
Like you don't have like a certain number for that, right? You just know two variables. The first segment of the line is just 4x minus 1, and the second segment is 3x plus 3, right?
Yeah.
So here you just set them equal to each other, right? Because M is the middle point for the entire segment, right? So you know that segment VM is congruent to segment MW, right? And then, so by that, you know that 4x minus 1 equals 3x plus 3, right? Like right here.
Yeah.
See? And then you just solve for x, and then you get 4, right? But when you get x equals 4, that's not the end of the question, because you still have to solve for the distance. They are asking you to find the length, right? So you have to substitute x into the equation.
Oh, okay.
So x is not the end. You just find how much, like, you just know x equals 4, but you don't know the whole distance. So you have to substitute 4 into x. So 4 multiplied. So 4 times 4 minus 1 is 15,
It's
right?
15. Yeah.
And so is the same other side. So you know both sides are 15 and together they're 30, right? That's how
Yeah.
you. So just to remember that during the test you have to put it back into the equation. See? That's how they do.
I have to get a pen real quick.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm back.
Okay. We can try number 2, exercise 2. Try to solve this one. So you know that line L is the bisector for line PQ, right? So
Mm-hmm.
by that, you know that line segment PM and segment MQ, they're congruent, they're equal, right?
Yeah.
So what do you do here now? You have any idea of how to do that?
Mm,
Tell me where you don't get it. Like which part did you not get it? Do you know how to do it? What's your answer? Like how do you like for do you solve for X, or do you have a
I'm still trying to solve.
okay? But just tell me where you're stuck with, like if you don't know how to do it.
yeah. I got stuck at the
Like which
solving
part?
for X part. I got stuck
Oh,
at the
solving for
solving
the
for
X
X
part?
part. Yeah.
Okay. So um I should have a whiteboard. I don't know, like wait a second. I'm gonna stop share for a second. I'm just gonna find a whiteboard if there's white. So like I thought Google. Wait a second. I'm gonna find one. Um, I don't know if that's gonna work or not, but we can try. Wait a second. But try to solve it first, like on yourself if you don't know. Okay. I think that's gonna work. Yep. Okay. There we go. Share screen. Sure. Okay. You guys see it?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll put it somewhere. So what's the equation? So it's 5x minus 7 and 11 minus 2, right? Not minus. So
Mhm.
5x. So it's a 5x. Oh shit. 5x minus 7. So that's the first like that's the distance for the first line, right?
Yeah.
For the first part of the line. Like because this is the line, right? They divided it into two parts, and you know that this is line L, is this line is the line bisector, right? So they divided the line into two congruent parts. Like in geometry, when you will learn that if you write like a dash on the line, on two lines, you know that they're congruent. This is like a symbol for that. Like you just it just shows that like you can know just by seeing like looking at it that they are congruent. And the second part is 11 minus 2x, right? 11 minus 2x. So first, because we know that they're congruent, so we have to set them up into the equation formula, right? Just setting up equal to each other, right? Minus 2x, right? And now, what do you do? Like, what do you do in algebra when you see that? Right?
Add 2x to both sides.
So you plus x, 2x on both sides, so it becomes 7x on this side, right?
Yep.
And then you plus 7 on both sides, so it equals 18 on this side, right?
Yep.
And now you're just gonna divide it. It's just gonna, right?
Yeah.
So it's just gonna be 18 over 7, right?
Yeah.
So this is the answer for x. It's only for x. So now we're gonna have to put it back in. And now when you do that, you just put it back in, and then you just times 5 and minus 7, so you get the distance, right? So you can do that on your own. So I'm just because just gonna multiply it, times it, and minus it. So just to remember, it can be any value. Like it can be a decimal. It can be a fraction. It can be anything. So like just to don't worry when you like not get like you don't get a perfect number, like you don't get 1 or 2. It's not it never like it's not always gonna be like that, even in the test. So and here this is the key concept. Do you guys have notebook like with you right now? You definitely
Yeah, I
have
don't know.
to write this down. This is the formula. It's really important. This is the distance for like midpoint formula that I like mentioned before. So it's quite simple. So you look here. If you have a line on the coordinate, so you know that between line AB, you know line point A is x1 and y1, right? And you know that B is x2 and y2. Those are the coordinates for them, right? And so basically, the midpoint formula plus you just plus both like the x value together for like the x value for A and x value for B. So you plus them together and you divide it by 2. Then you get the midpoint, point M, the x value for point M. And also you do the same thing for y. So you plus y together and then you divide it by 2, you get the value for 2 for y for the midpoint M. So that's you're definitely gonna use that during the test. We can try to solve this one. Try to solve the first one using the midpoint formula. Try to solve that. So here, look. So it gives you a line called endpoint of RS. Let's write it down. I'm just gonna click on. So so here's the x coordinate, right?
Yeah.
And what's the wait a second. So I think it's 1, -3, and 4, 2, right? So here's 1, right? 1, -3, 1, 2, 3, right? So here's the first point. And what's the second point? It's 2, 4, right? So it's 1, 2, is it 2, 4? 4, 2. It's 4, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, right? And then you go out by 2. So here, you see that here's the point, and then you connect them together. So here's the graph, here's the line, right? On the coordinate plane. So now you know that this is 1 and -3. And you know this is 4, 2. So what do you do by using the midpoint formula? Do you still remember the midpoint formula?
Yeah.
Yep. So what do we do first for the midpoint formula? How do you find the x value for the midpoint m? What's the x value?
Oh, the x value is the first number.
What's that?
X value, the first numbers.
What's the value for m, for the midpoint? So we know that the midpoint formula is right here, right? It's x1. For if you want to find the midpoint for m, right? If you want to find midpoint m, the x value for m is you just add the first, like the x1, which is like the first point of the, like the x value for the first point, and then with the second point, the x value for the second point together, and then you divide it by 2. Then you get the x value for m. And so it's the same thing with y. So what do you guys do here if you want to get the midpoint value? If you want to get the
1
x value.
1 plus 4 divided by 2.
Yep. So the first point is 1 plus 4 divided by 2, right? So which is 5, right? Which is, 5 over 2. Then what's the y value? Which is 5 over 2.
-3 plus 2.
Yep. So what's the value for that?
-1.
Over 2.
Yeah, you have to divide it by 2.
Yeah, -1 over 2.
-1 over 2, right?
Yep.
-1/2. So here, so this is the, so in the test, when they ask you to find the midpoint, you just add the x value together and divide it by 2, and add the y value together and divide it by 2. So here's the coordinate for that. Okay. Try to, I'm not sure. Should we find this one? Should we try this one? Let's do it later. Use the midpoint formula. Try to do this one. You can practice another question. If you know one line A, the line AB, the A is 1 and 1, 2, and B is 7, 8, and what's the midpoint for M? What's the value?
Uh, 4, 5.
Yep, it's 4, 5. You just add 1 and 7 together and divide it by 2, which is 4, right? And then 2 plus 8 divided by 2 is 5. Yep. And second formula, the distance formula, which you also gonna use a lot. not in geometry, but not only in geometry, but also in algebra 2 and also calculus, and like in high school and college. So here you gotta write this down. This is like the really important one. So just basically, it's pretty similar with the midpoint formula, but but for this one you just add x2 and y so you start with x2 and you minus x1 and you square it, right? And then you plus y2 minus y1 and you square it. And for the entire value, you square root of it. Have you guys learned square root? Do you
Yeah,
know?
we learned square root.
Yeah. Okay. So so here, so this is quite simple. It's like the Pythagorean theorem. It comes, they get the distance formula from Pythagorean theorem. So it's basically the distance for B, which is here, and the distance for A, and then you know that A squared plus B squared equals 6 squared, right? So you get C for that. Let's try to solve this one. What's the, if we know R2 and 3 and 4 and -1, what's the distance between them? We can write it down. It's gonna, so you get a better idea. It's 2, 3, and 4, 1. 4, -1. 2, 3, 1, 2, and 4, -1. 2, 3, 4, -1. Here, it's right here. So what's the, oh, it's not straight. So what's the distance between these two lines? So we know the distance formula, right?
Mhm.
And so what's the distance formula? Do you still remember?
Yeah.
It's right here, right? It's right here. So remember, you use x2 to minus x1 and y2 to minus y1, right?
Yeah.
So try to do it right here. Like, how do you gonna?
Uh,
Do you have any idea of how to get that?
2, 6.
2, 6. It's a distance though. It's the distance. It's not the midpoint formula. So
Oh,
it's not the same. So look right here. So look, we just have to, they minus each other, right? So 2 minus 4 is -2, right?
yeah.
And you have to square, remember, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And
Oh,
you have,
I did it the reverse way. That's why.
yeah, and also here. So when you minus each other, it's 4, right? And then you square 4, right?
Yeah.
And what do you get here? What do you get here? What's the value for minus, like -2 squared plus 4 squared? What's the value?
4, 16. 4 plus 16. So it's 20.
20.
Yep. And yeah, also remember you have to square root 20, right?
Yeah.
And then but also this is not the end. You have to simplify, right? You have to simplify square root of 20. Do you have any? Do you know how to square root, like simplify it?
Oh, no.
Square root.
Yeah. Well, wouldn't it be 5 square root 4?
Five. Are you sure? 5 square root of 4. Square root of 4. Are you sure? Look, if you want to double check, we can put it back, right?
Yeah.
Look, 5 squared. What's 5 squared? 5 times 5.
25.
You get 25,
25.
right? But when you
Yeah.
put 25 back into it, 25 times 4, what do you get? That, like, what do you get now?
100.
Right? See, that's totally different, right? 100. That's like they are not the same value, right? So by that you can know that it's not 5 times square. It's not 5 square root 4, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how do you? So what? Like try to factor it out. Like what do you have? Like if you want to, like how can you get 20 if you want to like if you have to time 2 variable together? Like the first group is like 120, right? Like 1 times 20, you get 20. The second group is 210, right?
Yeah.
Third group 4 5, right?
Yeah.
And that's like all of it, right? That's how you can
Yeah.
like all the ways you can get 20. But look, which one has a perfect square? One can like what times what can get a number? Like which one has a perfect square?
$210.
But what times what? They have to time the same number. It has to be a squared number. Like,
Oh.
can 2 get a squared number, or can 10 get a squared number? Like, what times they can only times 1, right? So you cannot get a square, a perfect square, right? But can 4 or 5 does? Do they have? Do they have a perfect square?
Yeah.
Which one has? Which one?
4.
Yup. So you know that 4 is 2 times 2, right?
Yeah.
So when we know that 4 times 5 is 20, then we can take it out as 4 times 5, right? Times 5, right? 4 times 5. You can write it. 4 times 5, right? And then because 4 is a perfect square, so we can take the 2 out, right? So it becomes 2 square root of 5. And this is the distance for the, so here's the distance for the segment. See? I think we have to practice another one for distance formula. Which one? Just here. I think I can leave some homework for you guys if you want. We can practice those later, like on your own, because I'm pretty sure you guys can get those, but we have to practice the distance formula. Here, try this one. Find distance of the segment. I'm gonna write it down. 1, 2, 5, 4. So here we know the first point, 1, 2. This is the point. 5, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. So here. So we know this 1, 2. And this is 5, 4. See? And so now we just have to use the distance formula. So what do you guys do first?
X2 minus X1 and Y2 minus 4.
Yep. So what's the so we can plug it in, right? 5.
Yeah.
Wait a second. The entire square root of 5 minus 1. And you have to remember, you have to square it, right? Plus x2, y2, I mean, my bad. Y2, just 4 minus 2, right? And then you square it. So what do you get, like, with 5? What do you get in the square root?
$20.
So here, yep, it's 20. So here you get 16, right? 4 squared.
Yeah.
4 squared is 16, and 2 squared is 4. So you get 20, right?
Yeah.
And what's the square root of 20? Because we just calculated that, right? What's the square root?
Yeah. Yeah. 2 square root 5. 2
Yep.
square root 5.
2 times square root 5, right?
Yeah.
And okay. We can do this one, also another one. So it's negative 5. Negative 3, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 5. Negative 3, 5, and 2, 5, 2, 3. So negative 3, 5, 2, 5, 2, 3. Try to do it on your own. And do you guys get the answer, or where you get, like, do you guys stuck with? Like, where are you guys stuck? Where do you
Yeah,
guys stuck?
I'm not stuck at the square root part.
Okay. So what do you get in the square root?
Uh,
What's the number in the square root? Like
21.
21?
I might added it wrong.
Let's do it together. So here. So you know that's -3, right? Minus 2, right?
Yeah.
Square root. Square it. Plus. Remember, it's plus,
Oh,
right? Remember, it's plus. You got to add them together. -3 squared, right? And so here you get -5 squared, right? Which is 25. And you get 5 minus 3, which is 2. And 2 squared is 4, right?
yeah.
And the entire square, which is 29 squared, right? But there's no, like, there's no number that is perfect square in 29. So you can just leave the answer like that. So the answer is 29 squared. But when you do that, you have to check it to see if that's like, so if to see if 29 can only has, like, you cannot simplify square root of 29. You have to double check that. Okay.
I think we should go over one more probably.
Yeah. Okay. We can try. Oh, we can try. Yeah. Try the next one. So -1, 2, 3, -2. -1, 2, and 3, -2, right? Is this 3, -2? Yep. 3, -2. 1, 2, 3, -2. It's right here. Here we go. 3, -2, and 1, -1, 2. Try to do it on your own, then we can check the answer together.
Wait, that's 2 -2?
2, -2.
Like for the y variables.
For the y variables.
Like the one that like it's 3 negative, is it 3 -2?
It has to be a value, like the distance. It's not a coordinate. It does not have. It's not a point.
No, no.
You know.
I was asking like, cause you know how it says 3 -2 and y -1 2.
Yep.
Oh, that's what it is, right? The y
Yeah,
variables
yeah,
are
yeah. So this is those are the points.
yeah. Okay.
So,
Is the answer 4? 4, 4? No, that's wrong. That made no sense.
Yeah, it's not 4. Wait, it's not 4, 4.
No, it's not 4. No. Don't miss it.
We can do it together. Here, let's
Yeah.
see. -1 minus 3, right?
Yeah.
You square it, right?
Yeah.
And you also plus 2 minus 2. What is 2 minus -2?
Oh, 4. Oh,
Yep. So you
minus
plus them, right?
yeah, that's where I messed up. Cause I put what's it called? I just did 2 minus 2, but I didn't put
Oh,
2
yeah, yeah.
minus -2.
That's why you have to double check when you get the answer. Because look, like especially when you're calculating it, like and putting numbers into it, you have to make sure that the sign, like the negative signs and positive signs, are they're the correct ones. So here you get -4 squared, which is 16, right?
Yeah.
That's 16, and plus what's
16.
that? 2. Oh, I mean, oh shoot, that's not the one that I want to write. 2 plus 2.
Yeah.
Right? So which is 4 squared. 4 squared, what's 4 squared? It's also 16, right?
Yeah.
Squared. So what's 16 plus 16?
32.
32.
Yep, 32. And what's square root of 32? Try to find this, like if there's any square root, perfect square in it. I'm gonna give you a hint that there is a perfect square in it. So try to simplify like as much as possible.
Two square root of, wait, no.
Okay, like don't you have to write it down. Like first, we know that the first group is 1 times 32, you get 32, right? The
Yeah.
second group is 2 times 16, right?
Yeah.
And the third group, is 4, 8, right?
Yeah.
And that's it, right? That's all you can that's all you can get. You want to get 32, right? And see, like, is there a perfect square in it, like in each group? Like, is there a perfect square?
16 2.
16 2. So yeah. So what's the perfect square of 16? Like, what can you get from 16? What times what?
4. 4.
Yep. So 4
Yeah.
squared, right? So
Four
so it
square root of
becomes
2.
2 times 4 squared, right?
Yep.
Oh, that's not good. So and then you just take the 4 out because it has the square root, it has a square sign, right? So just gonna take the 4 out. 2. That's the answer. 4 square root of 2. That's the distance between the for the line.
Wait, how do you tell again which sign goes inside the square root sign symbol? Like 4 squared 2?
Look, because you know that 16 equals 4 square, right?
Yeah.
And what's the square root of 4 squared?
2.
Right? Wait. 4 squared,
Wait, no. Oh, square root of
right?
4
So the
squared.
square root divide, like they cancel out, right? Because this is a square and this is also a square root, like, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm not sure if you guys learned that or not, but in the future you will learn that a square root, like a regular square root, if it has a sign, like if this is the square root, then it equals into like if this is the x of like square root of x, right? It equals x like to the 1/2 power. Have you guys learned that?
No.
No, we didn't learn that yet.
Yeah, but in the future you're gonna know that like a square root of a number, like like any number, it can equals to its the own number and time and to its like 1/2 power.
Okay.
But don't worry about that. But just to remember that when you have a square root in a square, when you have a squared, like a square number in a square root, they're just gonna cancel out, right?
Yeah.
So you take 4 out, and then it's 2, right? 4
Yeah.
square root of 2, 4 and square root of 2. So this is the distance for the line. Do you guys want to practice another one, or do you guys want to mix review, or do you want to? I think we can. Do you want to try to start some angles and sides, or do you want to still stick with the midpoint and distance formula?
We do the angles.
The angle ones? Oh, we're just gonna go over it for a quick overview. So we know that angle consists of 2 different rays, right? This is the vertex. Those are the sides, right? And when you name the angle, you call it angle CAV. Every time you have to name the angle CAV. Because like, look, if you have multiple angles here, you can't just name it angle X because people are not gonna know which angle you're talking about, right? You have to start with the one side and name and the vertex and go to the second side. So if I want to talk about here, this angle right here, then it's angle WXY. Or if I want to talk about the angle below, is angle YXZ, right? Or the entire whole, like the big angle, it's gonna be angle WXZ. Okay. We only have a couple minutes. I'm just gonna I'm just gonna leave you some homework, and do you guys have a notebook? Try to write it down. Come on. Like, are you guys busy during the week, or like, can you guys? Because I'm not sure like how much homework should I give you.
I'm pretty free during the week.
Okay. Then I'm just gonna give you maybe around 20 questions. How's that for the entire week? So you can like try to like maybe do 2 or 3 questions a day per day, right?
Yeah.
So
That's
20
fine.
questions. It's not a lot. So try to do this one, 3 to 8. Try to find the length using the right. Try to copy it down. So it's page. I'm also gonna write it down. So wait a second. So it's gonna be page, which page is it? 19. Page 19. And question 3 to 8. And let's see. (11 to 16). So 3 to 8, 11 to 16, and midpoint. Find the endpoint. You can do this 16 questions, 12 questions. Try to do 4, 17 to 12. 17 to 20, I mean. Find the midpoints. And also finding endpoints. We didn't do that during the class, but you guys can try it. You just use the midpoint formula, which is xy plus x2 divided by 2 for the x value, and y value for x1 plus y2 divided by 2. So for those questions, you know it's giving you the first point, like the first value of the point, and the middle point, right? And it's asking you to find the other endpoint. But you don't have to try to solve it. Like we didn't do that during the class, but try it. We can try 2 questions. How's that? 25 and 26. And also distance formula, we definitely have to. Okay, here. A to C. So A, B, and C.
Which page is this on now?
Wait a second. This is question 50. Just write question 50, A to N, C. 50, question 50, A to C. So I'm just gonna repeat it. I'm just gonna say it again. So remember, you start from page 19. So it's question 3 to 8. Page 19 is question 3 to 8. And question 11 to 16. And the second page, and the next page, page 20, is 25 to 26. 25 and 26 is right here. 25, 26, finding the endpoints. And also page 50, I mean, page 21 and question 50, which right here. A, B, and C. How's that?
That's good.
Okay, so if you have any questions, just email me anytime, and I'll try to respond to you as soon as possible.
Okay.
And remember, for question 50, you are using this graph.
Okay.
And you have to find the coordinate on your own. You have to find the coordinate, and then you have to calculate using the distance formula.
Okay.
Okay, great.